YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with some more NFL free agency grades. This is our second video. We got another video up full of free agency grades. So kind of going by waves. It's been crazy on this first day. And we're gonna have several of these videos, obviously. We have live updates, breaking news, rumors, thoughts on our Twitter. If you're not following it, you're missing out. But join us on the channel because we have full content here. Like I said, we keep going through with these grades. If you haven't seen the other video, check it out. More to come. There's signings going on as I'm talking right now. So, again, join us for all that. Let's get on with it. Here's our Twitter. A lot of updates and thoughts instantly when things happen. Always discussing with you guys as well. So definitely worth looking into. The first one, Will Disley, happened first in the second wave of free agency signings, and this is a little bit surprising one to me. Three-year, $24 million. Now Disley, early in his career, right away showed flashes and just kind of had that injury concern though, so that was just really the only thing. I'm surprised he got $8 million though. I was surprised he got $8 million. We'll talk about Uzomah, who actually got $8 million as well. I was a little surprised by that amount, but the biggest surprise was they traded for Noah Fant, who I like. Noah Fant has a lot of upside, is very good. So I know they really valued the tight end. They're still going to value the tight end over there, but just kind of weird how they kind of made that. That had to happen. Them get Disley back for $8 million a year. So I'm not really in love with this one. I'm going to go C. It's a little rich, and they shouldn't have been that desperate because they do have Noah Fant, but I guess there's no guarantees with him. They just brought him in. But I'm going to give this one a C. A little bit of a surprise on that one. Next up, DeAndre Campbell. Happened a little earlier. 5-year, $50 million. Kind of thought he could go elsewhere because the Packers were short on cap space. It kind of feels like he took a discount to, signed 5 years. He's going to get paid for 5 years, so that's pretty big for him. But so a discount for that, but mainly to stay with the Packers because he's been solid. But when he goes to the Packers, he has a career year. Was fantastic. Was a top 100 player easily for me this year. So I think he wanted to stay. It made sense. He wanted to stay where he worked out, where he fits, where he likes to play. So I think he took a discount for all of that. And it is 5 years. Packers will be paying for a long time, so hopefully he's working out. I'm sure we'll see the exact layout, but I'm going to go A+. I think this, I'm usually hesitant to pay guys big money if they had one good year, but he had one really good year. We know he's a fit there. We know he's good there, and it's $10 million per year. Foyalu Alkun, who I talked about in the last video, you get $15 million per year, which I do think he's worth more money because he's still young, has upside, a little bit more to his game, but pretty big difference there in the per year price. So I'm going to go A+ for the Packers here. I'm starting to think they wouldn't get him back, and I thought he would get a lot more than that. I thought he would get $13 million, $12.5, $13 million per year, so $10 million per year for the Packers is pretty damn good for DeAndre Campbell after a monster season to help improve their defense. The Dolphins signed Cedric Wilson, was kind of the sleeper under the radar receiver. He was very productive when he got the chance at the end of last year. He kind of can use him in the slot and outside. This is interesting too. 3-year random number, $22.8 million, $7.6 million per year. It's interesting because the Dolphins, they're probably going to need somebody better as well, whether it's another big signing they're waiting on or first round or second round in the NFL draft. Either one would be okay. I don't want them to kind of settle and be like, all right, we're done with the receiver position. So that's something we're looking out for. How productive can he be? The pass first, Dak Prescott, high-powered pass offense of Dallas, going to Miami. Will they be run first? You have two at quarterback, so will he kind of continue to where he left off? So there's some questions there. But I think he's better than what we've given him credit for. I think he's got a lot of upside. I think $7.6 million per year, especially looking at what some of these receivers are getting. I think that's a really good deal. So it's definitely one I like for the Dolphins. A sleeper guy, and he got paid like a sleeper guy. Sometimes these sleeper guys don't end up sleepers anymore because they get paid like almost an elite player out of nowhere, and we're like, wait a minute, that's not it. That guy was supposed to be a bargain sleeper deal? No. So he kind of got paid like that. So it's a good thing here. So I give it an A for the Dolphins. Again, under the radar guy that I liked. So the big one, I think this is the biggest one of the day. J.C. Jackson, the top corner available. Big-time playmaker the last 2 years. Very good in man coverage, which is not too common, in the NFL with corners. 5-year, $82.5 million deal. $85 million is the max. He could reach that, so that would bump it up to $17 million per year, $16.5 million per year. So based on the hype J.C. Jackson was getting, what he was asking for, I thought he was going to get over $18 million. I was fully expecting an overpay. See, cornerback is the second, in my opinion, the second hardest position to play after quarterback, but I still am not one to value the cornerback position. I just don't value. I think there's other more important positions, so I would have been a little upset with teams really overpaying, and I really, really expected it to happen, but not basically just unexpected here. $16.5 million per year. That's the fifth highest paid corner in football. The market goes up every year. You got a very good, experienced playmaking man coverage corner here. So I'm deciding to grade live. It's a very good one here. I'll give it an A+. Maybe I'm putting maybe I was going to give it an A because you still paid a lot of money to a cornerback. He's going from playing 50% of snaps in man to, I think the Chargers want to play more man, but how will he be in a little bit more zone? I think Staley wants to run more cover 4 like he did 2 years ago with the Rams. Typically, I think you're fine with cover 4 because you're in your own lane there. It might be a little easier. It should be, but sometimes zone throws off the man coverage corner. So there's some risk. You put a lot of stock into this. You do have to start focusing on stopping the run, but this is way less than I expected. I was almost could even get to $20 million, and I was gonna hate it. So maybe a little relieved. I'm not a Chargers fan either, but maybe I'm a little relieved for the team that they got a pretty good deal. And I see that the league might be starting to drop the cornerback value a little bit because teams are able to. There was some really good defenses last year that their weak spot was corner, but if you have a very good man coverage corner here, it really helps your defense out. So the Chargers are getting better. We'll give it an A+, kind of borderline A+. We'll give it to them since I'm surprised no one really beat that, actually. And then another corner, Carlton Davis, $15 million per year. So I thought J.C. Jackson would get over 18, surprisingly. I thought Carlton Davis would get around 16.5, 17. He gets $15 million per year, 3 years, $45 million total. And on top of that, I really didn't think the Bucs were going to get him back. I was starting to just think that he's going elsewhere. Somebody's going to pay something stupid. $15 million per year for a young, improving corner that fits the Buccaneers, can play multiple coverages. We're going to get another. I'm surprised at myself. I'm dishing out A+ for highly paid corners. This is very rare, but there's some good ones here. And again, the market's supposed to go up every year for almost every position. It doesn't really seem like it for corners, so I think these teams are getting some pretty good deals here. So we'll give it A+. I wasn't expecting to give out these A+ for corners, like I said, but we did. Evan Engram, so the Jags have signed a bunch of guys, and they signed Evan Engram. They're looking for a tight end. I think they were really going to go in on Zach Ertz, but the Cardinals locked him up right before. Big move there. We'll talk about Zach Ertz later in this video. Talk about some of the guys that signed yesterday. But 1 year, $10 million. Evan Engram hasn't played up to that $10 million level yet. Like he gets more than Uzomah. It's a little surprising. He does have a lot of upside, though. He is going to be productive in Peterson's system. Is very valuable in his system. They can use him. That's a tricky part, too, because they got Kirk to play the slot. Engram, a different type of slot. So how much they're going to use these guys, it is a little tricky. It's 1 year. You get a little bit of a trial there. That's good. I think he'll be more productive. I think he'll be good with Trevor Lawrence, away from Daniel Jones. But Daniel Jones' best moments, some of his best balls happen to be dropped by Evan Engram at the same time. So I don't want to rip Daniel Jones, and even though I do my fair share of ripping Daniel Jones there. But these Jags ones are tricky to grade because they're getting better, and I kind of like the fits, but they're overpaying a little bit. It's 1 year. But even if you kind of get the upside out of Evan Engram, it's like, all right, he's a free agent again. So that's the tough part. That's the tough part on this one. I'll go B-. We'll go B- for the Jags. Yeah, they're getting players. They're getting better here. B range, still a good grade. I think he'll be productive. I think he'll take a step up this year. Surprised he got $10 million, though. Next up, we got CJ Uzomah, which this was a little bit of a surprise. I tweeted... What did I tweet? I don't know what the most surprising part is, that he got $8 million per year, that he got the same amount as Will Disley. We could even throw in there that he got less than Evan Engram, or that the Bengals didn't want to match the $8 million per year, the 3 year, $24 million. It just sounds like he loved it in Cincinnati. So I think anything in that range, I think he would have came back. He seemed like a big-time leader for them in the locker room as well. It was very surprising from the Bengals. The Jets, yeah, I mean, people hyping up the tight end market, seeing what the franchise tag gave some guys that are worth less than this and less than Uzomah, seeing with, again, what Disley and Engram got and Ertz, all these guys got. I mean, $8 million per year looks really, really good. He's definitely a weapon of a tight end. He's a smart tight end. I think he fits really good with the Jets offense and Cedric Wilson. We gave an A+ out to the Jets in the last video. I'm going to do it again. We'll give him an A+. And of course, yeah, when it's still early, but are they going to focus on defense yet? I know people want other receivers. Still got the draft, but they could. What else are they going to do here? Still waiting on that. But the two signings that the three that we looked at, because Barrios too, they look pretty good from the Jets. So they're giving out some pretty good value, in my opinion, and they're getting some good players. So this was a little bit of a surprise, just for the reasons I explained there. So the Jets get an A+. That one just happened like right before recording that, so that's kind of the cutoff on this one. But we have a long list. I got another page after this. So there's a bunch of guys that signed either earlier today. Some of these guys are big-name guys. Why are they on this page? It's because there are more rework deals or extensions. Not really new signings. And some of these happened yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or last night. Well, we're going to break them down. Packers signed Preston Smith, 4-year, $52.5 million. I gave it a B. I mean, that 13 whatever range per year, that's pretty good for Preston Smith. That's pretty good. Very good, I'd say. It's a little tricky, though, because all of a sudden they're just slapping a 4-year deal on Preston Smith. Did they really want to go that lengthy? The longer it is, the more money you can spread out. So I think they were kind of forced to do that. A year ago today, they were trying to figure out how to get out of Preston Smith's deal. Let's rework it so we're out of it sooner rather than later. And then just like that, 4-year extension on top of the 1 year, so 5 years total. So it's good value. They get a good player back. He's cheaper than Zadarius Smith, not better. But they almost did what they had to do. They wanted to keep him, obviously. They almost did what they had to do, so it keeps it from being in the A range. I still like to value it, so we keep it at a B. Falcons signed Jake Matthews, 3. I was surprised by that one. Three extra years. So, yeah, it's kind of the good thing. I think it's pretty good value for a left tackle. He's not playing to where he used to play, but $17.5 million per year for a proven left tackle, pretty good one. I think that's pretty solid. What's keeping it from being A? Yeah, 5 more years of Jake Matthews. I'm sure he can get out of it at some point, but it is pretty lengthy. I'm surprised with a 3-year extension on that one. Bucs signed Ryan Jensen. That was last night, right when I fell asleep. 3-year, $39 million. It's an A+. I thought he was, he would have. I know he would have got paid more elsewhere. Teams were going to break the bank for a center. It was going to be wild. That's a really good deal for the Bucs. Cardinals signed Zach Ertz. It was yesterday. 3-year, $31.65. I see people saying, maybe not a lot of people, but I see people saying it's an overpay. I'm in disagreement with that. Zach Ertz is a very good tight end. He's still good. He looked like he worked out very, very well right away with the Cardinals. I like that they're using a traditional style tight end more. If he would have got to free agency, I really think he would have ended up on the Jags. And you look at the Jags and how they're not afraid to pay. They would have paid him more than this. They would have paid more than this. The more I'm talking, I almost want to give this an A+. I like that one a lot for the Cardinals. Cowboys signed Michael Gallup. I actually benefit of grading this one late. I'm a little late on grading some of these. Gallup, I would have gave it a worse grade at first because, 12.5 per year coming off the injury. Maybe a little bit of an overpay, same as Corey Davis last year. I thought, Corey Davis earned a little bit more last year, mainly because Gallup's coming off the injury. But then looking what Christian Kirk got, which was like $18 million per year. This is looking pretty good right now. So I bump it up. He is coming off injury. It's a little more than I expected, but I bumped it up there. Vikings, this was an extension, actually. So 1 year on top of the 1 year already. So 1 year, $35 million. So the money's really not a problem, big of a problem for me. I know people rip Kirk Cousins. I mean, he had a really good year. I mean, it seems really expensive, and it is. I don't really have that big of a problem with it. I think with the Vikings, they kind of did all of the above, which is a little bit of the question where it was kind of either extend him or restructure him with void years. And, they kind of did all of the above. A little bit of a panic move there. Give it a C+. I mean, they don't have a question at quarterback for the next 2 years, though. That's kind of the good thing there because he's played solid. There's some teams that are really scrambling and getting super desperate right now. Patriots signed Devin McCourty back. Thought he might, could that be it? But 1 year, $9 million. I think a lot of A's here. I think that's a good deal. It's an A. Get him back. Don't have to worry about the position. Isaiah McKenzie, 2 year, $8 million. Feels more valuable to the Bills than that, so I gave it an A. Mo Alley Cox, 3 year, $18 million. Jack Doyle retired. They won Mo Alley Cox back, who I still feel like he has upside. He was not the youngest guy. Gave it an A. Brian Allen back. People thought he can go elsewhere. 3 year, $24 million. It's a pretty good deal for the center. Cardinals, Colt McCoy. We know Colt McCoy fits. We know he's a good backup. He won a game this year with them. 2 year, $7.5 million. I liked it. It's an A. Cowboys signed DeMarcus Lawrence to 3 year, $40 million. It's $30 million guaranteed. There's a little confusion with the first reports. It's 3 year, $40 million, which is good. He had to get less, and that looks like it's less than his skill value, and it's true. He kind of had to because he does have the injury concern, but I think it's a pretty good deal for the Cowboys. Helps him clear some space. And then still waiting on the contract details of Brandon Scherf. Steelers signed a couple guys, Trubisky and Mason Cole. Bills signed a couple guys. I don't know why we're not getting Bills numbers right now. Saffold and Tim Settle. Tim Settle was one of my sleepers. He's been a backup nose tackle because he's behind Payne. Yeah, we'll see the contract details. I'm probably going to like that one a lot. I think he's got a lot of upside. Dolphins signed Teddy Bridgewater. For some reason, we're not seeing the quarterback numbers here with Trubisky and Bridgewater. But some more grades that just happened. Giants signed Mark Lewinsky, who has starting experience on a pretty good offense line with the Colts. The thing with Glowinski, you hear Glowinski, a free agent, you start thinking somebody's probably going to overpay him because he's got some experience. He has some good play here and there, but why it would be an overpay is because it feels like you almost can plug anybody in the Colts, almost anybody in on the Colts offensive line, and they're just better than what they are. So you do worry about that away from with the Giants or a team like that. But they didn't really pay him they paid him like he comes with a little bit of risk. 3 year, 18.3. It's way less than I expected. I like that deal a lot. It's low risk, possible pretty good reward there. So it's a grade A. Panthers signed Xavier Woods, 3 year, $15.75 million. Early last year, he started off pretty good, but then he really went downhill. Some pretty bad play there. I do like the Panthers defense. Very well coached. I think he could fit in. I think they get a little more out of him. Maybe the good play that he showed early last year. Gave it a B-. This was a surprising one. Steelers signed Chukwuma Okafor, their right tackle, 3 year, $29.25 million. Definitely a lot more than I thought he would get. It just feels like the Steelers are kind of settling with what they got, and then kind of just bringing some competition guys. And we don't see the contract of Mason Cole yet, but he's kind of a high-end backup because Steelers' offensive line's struggling. So it seems like they're they're kind of afraid to get better, to get guys because they got a lot of young guys that want to continue to develop. But I just don't like the settling thought of it. But there's still a lot of free agency left here. I didn't like that one really. D+. I was surprised by the amount he got paid there because that's starting to push like top 10 right tackles. Browns signed Taven Bryan, 1 year, $5 million. The same with the Browns. I just kind of want. There's still a lot of free agency left, obviously, but I want them to go out and get kind of a better defensive tackle. They're kind of messing around with some of these project guys. I'm sure he has some more upside. What I've been saying on why he hasn't really worked out. I've graded him as a 3-4 end coming out of Florida. He hasn't played that spot yet. Still won't play that with the Browns. They run a 4-3. I mean, it's low risk, and you might be able to get some upside on him, but I don't think he should be a starter. I just kind of wish because the Browns were kind of settling with interior, and they're looking at D tackles and linebacker positions. So are they going to do that again? So I don't really love it, but it's cheap. Well, it's $5 million for 1 year. I mean, that's a hit on your 2022 cap because it's the full fives coming from 1 year. So I don't love it. It's not one to really complain about too much, but gave it a C+. So that wraps up the second video. Again, there's a first video with other free agency signings that happened earlier. We're still waiting on contract details, as you can see up there on a lot of those. I'm confused why I haven't seen some of those yet. Sometimes it happens. Technically, free agency hasn't officially started yet. Expecting more trades to happen, but more of these videos will go down. We're talking on Twitter. I'm sure signings happened as I've been rambling on here for the last 20 minutes. So there's probably signings going down right now. We'll head over to Twitter. We'll work on our next video here. And yeah, definitely more of that to come. So join us, like, subscribe, turn notifications on, follow our Twitter. Very important. But that is going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.